course. That
Read
part's
my
cool.
article and let me know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Well, this is a bad review. Then don't let us know what you think.
That's okay. Yeah, you don't have to.
You
tell
don't
me.
have to.
I'm all
only for the positive.
I'm not in the constructive criticism phase of my life right now.
And welcome back to the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey,
What's going on?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, save it for the end.
I know.
Because for 2023,
no life updates
could be at the end of the
well, life
podcast.
Update is I'm sick.
Yeah, but we'll save it for the end.
Well, they're gonna know during.
Well, okay. Anyway, on with our guest. Yes, we have Robin.
This is really weird for me.
I know. To just go into the interview,
going in raw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a change. I mean, we've been doing it for 95, 94 episodes one way, and now we're switching to this. It's gonna be
Introduce her again.
Anyway, our guest today is Robin with Laser Focused. How's it going?
Hey, it is going great. So much fun to be here with you guys.
It's good to have you.
Yes. We're here. We're happening. Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna do it.
So I originally met her on the live that I did with Mark when he was doing the lives with everybody for the last conference. The first conference. And he did one each week with each of the presenters. And so she had attended that one. And then that's when she met me there. And then we met in person at the conference. Okay. And then, it just kind of went from there. So tell us, how the heck did you get into this laser world?
It's a crazy story in that in my other life, how many lives do we have, right? In my other life, I have been a practicing hypnotist for many years. And in fact, what happened back in 21, I was talking to somebody and they said to me, wow, you've had your job for 14 years. And I went, what? I've had the same job for 14 years? I mean, it kind of freaked me out, right?
Yeah.
14 years. I've never done anything for 14 years.
Right.
But anyway, it made me feel like, oh, I need to do something new. Yeah. And we were traveling and I was watching YouTube stuff and this magic machine showed up.
Marketing.
Glowforge, the marketing company.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw this very cool machine and I've always been a crafter. So I came home and I'm talking to my sweetie, Sam, and I'm going, okay, I want you to tell me why I don't need this.
Right.
So I'm like, look at this video. Look what I can do. And about 3 weeks of this, he finally looked at me. He went, oh my God, just buy the thing.
Just buy it already.
So that's how the laser journey began. And, when I was listening to one of your podcasts and you got it and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I got it. And it wouldn't cut. It would engrave, but it wouldn't cut. But then you don't know, right? So you're like,
right.
But is it
new? You don't understand what's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had actually ordered it in June and this was now August. So to get it and not have it work was really super annoying. And I was like, and so they sent me the new one and I got to keep the old one until I got the new one. So I engraved a lot at the beginning. Yeah. Yes, I did the gift of good measure as my first cut that didn't.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's how I got into it. And that piece is Robin's Bird Brain Designs. And I had used that name before when I was making cards. So, but then when I tried to actually, do the business as that name. Oh, yeah. Somebody else had the rudeness to already take that name. So if you look, it's Bird Brain is one word, but the two B's are capitalized, and that's how I kind of got around that.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the laser part of it. And then, I'm out there asking for information and one of two things happens. No one answers you.
Right.
Or you get 12 answers and 6 of them completely annihilate the other 6 of them.
Right. Yeah.
And you're just super, super confused. And I thought I could put together a magazine had done it for my hypnosis practice for my online clients. I sent them the magazine as their welcome packet. So I said, I could put together a magazine and this is a great idea. And then I talked about it for several months. And then one Sunday morning I woke up and I said, okay, I just got to do something. So I created the cover of the first magazine and I put Daryl Aspen on it.
Yeah.
Well, actually I put his design on it. And that afternoon I had commented on something he posted and he was live and commenting. So I said, hey, I want to talk to you. And bless his heart. He's like, okay. And that's how things actually got rolling with the magazine.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool. So now when you say magazine, is it a physical magazine or is it like online?
Digital.
Both? Digital.
It's digital. It's only digital and it's free. As a laser user, I want everybody to have access to it. And so you can subscribe for free. It does have advertising in it, but it's not an advertising vehicle. You know, some publications you get and there's like hardly any content and it's all ads. And that's not what this is. There's lots of content. In fact, one of my contributors is sitting right here with us today.
It's me. I've been meaning to ask you, how was the article? Was it decent?
It was great.
Okay.
It was great. I'm just busy laying it out right now.
So,
huh?
I said no feedback is good feedback. So
I thought I wrote to you. I'm so sorry because this is really good, and I'm sorry.
I'm just glad that I finally got you something because, man. So when I first agreed to do it, literally weeks after is when like the shitstorm started with JR.
Oh,
and she was like, I've built in some cushions. Let's not, and I had a lot of orders to do at the same time. And so I was dealing with him and then also really busy with the physical orders and all those awards and stuff that I had going on. And she's like, let's just move you to the next, the next
January, February.
What do you call it? Issue, the next issue. And so then it comes the next issue and things didn't get better. They only got worse. And I was like, okay, I really I don't want to go to the next issue. I don't want to hope that she has another buffer. Like I need to just get it done. But like, I mean, it was tough.
Yeah,
like
and then, our Colorado trip was coming up.
I wrote it in Colorado.
Yeah.
So I ended up, it was like the night before we were leaving and, I had attempted to kind of, and again, this is that procrastinator brain and where like I attempted to kind of like come up with things or come up with notes before then. And there was like, I'd literally just look at my phone and be like, I got nothing.
Right.
And
writer's block.
Yeah. And then I was able to kind of like get down a couple of notes. And then I also reached out to Victor because he's just an overachiever and I knew he'd have some bits of advice. And I was like, this is my topic. Do you have anything that, you think like should like definitely be included? I want to make sure that I cover that. And he gave me a couple suggestions and, a few of them I had already had, which was great. And, he gave me a couple that I didn't have. And that paired with being able to finally put something down, I was like, I had the good base. And then as soon as I had like the somewhat quiet moments to be able to do it in Colorado, we got settled again the first few days.
What quiet moment? So you did it in the bathroom?
Quiet
moments.
It was quiet-ish. It was like the third day in when he kind of got a little settled and he wasn't, because the first 2 days were rough. And I was like, okay, I may not be able to pull this off because it was just, it was almost like we were either out like with people and family and friends and stuff, or we were in the hotel and he was losing his mind.
Yeah.
And so it was like, there was no like free moment.
Right,
and then if there was a free moment and he finally went to sleep, now I'm so mentally and physically exhausted that there's like, I'm not going to be able to sit down and write a like motivating article about learning to design. So
well, you did a great job.
Thank you. It's, man, just knowing that and then go read the article, it'll probably make it sound that much better.
It'll probably be a different read.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, if you know the song Fighter by Tom McDonald, that's you, girl.
Thank you. Hey guys, thanks for watching and listening. If you'd like to support us monetarily now or in the future, here are a few ways.
You can join us on Patreon and reach out to us to run ads on the podcast.
For only $20, by the way.
Only $20.
You could also buy a file from my Etsy shop, some keychain accessories from my website, the course to learn some file designs, or explore one of my partnerships with either Eon or Pyburn.
Yeah, and you can find all those links on our Facebook group. That's the Riley Black Project.
Yep. To support us for $0 a month, you can share the podcast with your laser friends, subscribe to our YouTube channel, interact with our content, share, like, comments. What else?
And subscribe and leave a review on our Apple podcast. And then follow us on social media. That's Facebook and Instagram. The Riley Black Project.
Yes, we appreciate your support so much. We have big dreams of John joining us full time, and anything that you can do monetarily or for free to help us get there, we appreciate it so much. Yeah, so I was glad to finally get it. You know, of course, a week perfect procrastinator deadline, but a week past the second deadline because again, I missed the first issue completely, and then but it's done and it'll be out.
16th.
It'll be out by the time I think this airs, right, or soon after.
The Monday, the 16th.
Cool. Yeah.
And I usually try and get out the first of the month, but I knew that with my orders for the holidays, there was no way, and I was also traveling, and I figured everybody'd be in the same boat. So January 16th, not first.
No, I think that's good because I mean, as it is now, I haven't gotten back. Like I've done obviously some work here and there, but you know, our son is still, Jackson is at least back in daycare, but he's not back to school until Monday. And even then it's not a full week. And he's not in a full week of school until January 24th. So work doesn't even start for me until Monday.
You know, it reminds me of that great Staples commercial that comes out in August. And it's the most wonderful time of the year. We're doing school supplies. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go back to school.
Right. I still love you, but mommy needs to work. Mommy needs.
And that's an even longer
time.
break that you're talking about because that's over the summer.
Ooh.
So you're ready to ship them off.
Well, now, one of the things we have in common is I used to live in Colorado. I used to live just down the street in Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the schools there, they did the year round.
Yeah.
I did year round when I was little.
Yeah. So
it was great and rough at the same time. Like it was nice because like you never really had that huge long break. But then you also never really had that huge long break.
But did you ever?
And
did you go from?
If your friends were in traditional school, then they were in summer, and you're like, I'm in school, even though it's summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I would say, did you even know what like the I guess quote traditional?
Well, so
was?
I was quote. I think I was traditional schooling until middle school. I think my middle school was the year round schedule. And then the hard part with that too was they were different tracks. So there was like orange track, purple track. And so
different classes,
there would be overlapping, but you'd have different schedules. So like they'd have different off periods. So like purple track would be off for like 3 weeks and then orange track went off. And then I think there was like yellow or something like that too.
Kind of like the school lunch is a different lunch schedule.
Yeah,
so,
but
so not all the kids are in the cafeteria at the same time.
Yeah, but with breaks as well. And so it was cool, but then it's like, again, if you had a friend who's on purple track and they go off first and then you go off after, now you don't see that friend for 6 weeks.
Well, and just think of it as a parent if you have 2 different tracks for 2 different kids.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I mean, it actually that would kind of work out, kind of,
maybe,
because then you like when we have both kids home at the same time, they don't. It's like, oh my God, we're overwhelmed. So
I'd rather have both of them home than one for 3 weeks and another one for 3 weeks, because then that's kids for 6 weeks. No, give me the hell for 3 weeks instead of mild hell for 6. Okay.
There you go.
If my kids are watching this later, I really do love you, but you're a lot. So I don't want you to don't think terrible.
I don't know if they'll be.
You gotta let mommy put on her own oxygen mask once in a while.
Oh, right. It's just having a moment to breathe. Right. What did you say on the last plane? So we were leaving Colorado, and they're, again, JR, we were just so done after that trip. And, they're walking down the aisle, and, oh no, it was, after the, it was the flight home after the delay overnight. And the flight attendant is walking down. Now, mind you, we've been traveling for over 24 hours at this point. And the flight attendant's like, put your mask on, before you put on your kids. And he's like, can I take my time or something like that? He made some comment of like, he was still bitter about what we had gone through. So, yeah.
Yeah. Parenting isn't for sissies.
Definitely not. So.
You good? Okay.
I need water.
It's not the vid. We tested. So
I did test.
What goes into putting an issue together?
Blood, sweat, and tears. Well, first of all, I always try and choose someone in the business who inspires people. Now, by the time this is published, you'll know who's on the January-February cover. And
tell me.
Well, okay, so you guys are significantly younger than I am. Let me just say that. So if I say the phrase to you, and now for something completely different, it probably is just a phrase. But it comes from Monty Python.
It sounded familiar.
Yeah. And now for something completely different, because our cover is Alex with Laser Everything.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And I know you guys were just on his podcast just a little bit ago, but I really feel like you couldn't be more different than a lot of the stuff we've had in the magazine. There's also going to be an article on fiber lasers specifically. And it's a goal to bring together the real techie world and the crafty world.
Right.
I appreciate that you don't need to know every little thing about the tech. But if you do, you can manipulate your machine much more efficiently and effectively.
Right.
So it's important to know. And sometimes you just got to get through that first year of, I don't know, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you mean it doesn't magically do all those settings? Yeah, I can change a setting?
Right.
That's for specifically for Glowforge.
One good and bad thing about Glowforge is that they kind of even spoon-fed like the settings to you, and so you don't realize. I remember having to like adjust the settings the first time, and it was so nerve-wracking because it was like I didn't know what to adjust. I didn't know what to adjust by how much. I didn't know what each one did and its purpose. And again, it's good in the sense that if you're new, you don't have to worry about that stuff initially, and you can get more comfortable before that kind of becomes a thing. But it does take away that knowledge to you that is power in getting the best product, the best time, the best settings. Because yes, for the most part, those settings can work for most things, but there's always going to be that material that needs something a little bit different. And that's why, there's a blue acrylic setting and a red acrylic setting. And now some of those, they trick you too, because some of those are the same.
Just the same.
But some of them are different because some colors do perform differently. And like one thing I noticed with my Mira, I have my settings for, acrylic that I use for every piece of acrylic. Well, then you'll have a new product, and it was the new pastel acrylics, and I had to adjust not only just adjust them for the pastel acrylics, the blue pastel acrylic has a different setting than the rest of the pastel acrylics that also don't have the same setting as my normal acrylics, because it gave this kind of like gray tone to every like cut or bend. I was making bunny stir sticks or like Easter tags, right?
Yeah.
And every turn it did kind of had like a gray mark that I couldn't get off, that I couldn't clean off. And that required me, to mess with the settings and tweak stuff. And it's a little bit more difficult in the beginning when you're a Glowforge runner, because you aren't necessarily taught that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't comprehend how the triangle, right? The power, the speed, the dark. Yeah, it's a learning curve. Well, I think Alex, really helps you understand what you got, technically speaking. So to have him on the cover, and had a great interview with him, just such a nice guy. And just so I'm excited to bring that to, I think right now the demographic of the magazine is very much on the crafting side,
right?
Creative side. So I'm really happy to start bringing in some of these other eyeballs who, let's face it, they can use the exposure to the creativity as much as we can use the exposure to the technology.
Well, and I was thinking that too with like when he had on Emily, or when he had on us, and when we had him on, like there's definitely some overlap, but he has a completely different audience than we do. And again, there is some overlap, and there is some opportunity for both of us to kind of get like a piece of the other. But because someone who goes to his channel or his podcast, they're going to get something different. They're going to get the more technical, that kind of talk. And then with us, you're going to get, the stories about how people started and where they're going, and the bullshit we're going through with their kids. You know what I mean? So they get that kind of stuff. And so it's like you get the best of both worlds, and that like if you need this right now, here's some options of where you can go. And if you want something, more like this, then you have.
And both groups could learn from each other.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. And so that's the goal of the magazine, is to become a resource for the laser community. And when you look at the magazine, I have recurring columns, and one of the recurring columns is design. That's the one that you wrote for, Crystal. And then I have an acrylic column, a wood column, a business column, because a lot of people jump into this and have zero clue about business,
Right.
And by the way, like the podcast you did with your accountant was excellent.
Wasn't it so good?
It was great. And people, in fact, the business column in this new issue is all about that. Is it a hobby or is it a business?
Right.
Because people do need to understand the tax implications and how they should do things depending on what it actually is. The other recurring one is maintenance. And then this one I'm adding marketing, because I guess in the beginning I thought, business and marketing would be together, but clearly no.
Right.
I found that out really quickly. Right. So my job, going back full circle to the question, John, is to find my contributors like Crystal, who they're experts in that area. For example, I'm going to have in the new issue photography, and it's done by a gal I know who is a professional photographer here, and she's written that article. I have a CPA writing the business article. And here's a shout out to anybody who feels like, I would really like to write one of those columns or just an article in general, message me, because I'm always looking for content.
Yeah.
So
what's that real? Everything is content.
Yeah, everything is content.
And I'm moving to a new platform for it. So the business model for the magazine is the revenue comes from my advertisers. And now on this new platform, it's called Issue. Maybe People have heard of it, ISSUU, I'm sure they have. But I can get analytics on every page, on every link. So now I'm going to be able to give you feedback like, oh my gosh, everybody read your article,
right.
and your link was clicked on X number of times or whatever, so that I can help make it. I want
Mutually beneficial.
Say again?
Mutually beneficial.
Yeah, I want them to get business because that way they want to keep advertising and I'm not out knocking on doors.
Right, knocking on empty doors, yeah.
Right now I'm the chief cook and bottle washer, with the exception of I do have someone helping with writing, and I have a social media company starting to do my social media, which is why it's more consistent if anybody's been watching.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning to get resources to help me put it together,
which is huge in business too. Like I'm getting to that point where this year I definitely want to try and find more ways to outsource the stuff that I'm struggling to do. So, whether that be like hiring a friend or, a stay-at-home mom or someone who to do things for me that I don't like doing, or I have my organizer coming back again to like reorganize my inventory and stuff again for what I'm currently doing. But it's huge to get those little helpers here and there, because, it's almost like this like unsaid rule where we have to do it all by ourselves. We have to do everything. And while some people can, like, that's not necessarily the best way to do it either. If you can afford to, put out something to delegate something here and there, especially the stuff that you don't like doing, will give you more time and money to be able to do the stuff that you want to do.
Having someone do social media for me, because I have one of these things, like I understand what needs to be done, and then I sit down to go do it, and I'm stuck for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I do one of two things. So if I'm stuck on the magazine, I go cut something. If I'm stuck on my laser, I come work on the magazine.
Right.
A little schizophrenic. And sometimes I'm going, no, you cannot go to the laser yet. You must finish these 2 pages. Absolutely.
So what are your goals with the bird brain or the laser focus? Like, what are some things that you're hoping to do this year with those?
Well, right now the magazine has 3,700 subscribers.
Nice.
I'd like to get 10,000 by the end of the year. So, and that's super doable. I mean, if you go look at these 80 plus laser groups just on Facebook, there's 30, 40, 50,000 people in them. I think 10,000 is reasonable.
Yeah.
And keep developing. I really want to be several issues ahead right now. I'm a bit ahead in some areas, but not in the whole magazine. And that would be really nice. And again, finding those people who they can fill in, they can backfill, they can lay out. I do all the layout, and sometimes you run out of ideas because, so finding someone who can help do that. And then in my other business, I just talked to the person who's going to be on the March-April cover, so I'm not telling you who that is, but amazing. And I will say, we go, oh yeah, I've been in this business for 5 years. That's a long time. I got news for you. This guy's been in it more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, I just gave away that it's a guy. That's the only hint you get. But amazing work. And to see the business model that this person has is really super. And I think it wasn't too long after I got my Glowforge that I looked at it and I went, oh my goodness, this is not true production capability.
Right.
And to be fair to them, that's never really what they imagined it to be, right? And I just have to fit this in here. I love it. People talk about silhouettes and crickets. And by the way, I want a silhouette. So if anybody has one collecting dust, contact me.
I sold mine collecting dust. Otherwise, I would.
Yeah, you're. But I call that the gateway drug to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. but what I really quickly realized, like, oh, you know, my ideas of making a lot of money with this are limited here.
Yeah.
So,
possible, but definitely limited, and possible. Like it can be a good like starter laser. I always say that it's a great starter laser. It shows you for cheaper depending on the model, because they have raised a lot of their prices. I never recommend the Pro anymore, because if you have money for the Pro, you have money for an industrial laser at that point. But if you're considering the basic and you want to see if lasering is for you, that it's a perfect way to do so, to kind of get your feet wet, maybe make some gifts. And then if you really like it, you start posting them and it takes off, then you can take that money, because my Glowforge paid for my Mira. So, but when when you compare it, like I went viral when I still had my Glowforge, and doing production of ornaments was painful. It accomplished it, but it was painful because it was taking me 2, 3, 4 times as long as it was going to take me, as it would have taken me on my industrial laser that was on the way.
Yeah.
So, while you definitely can make a ton of money, on a Glowforge or similar Glowforge laser, when it comes down to it, if you really start making money or you really start getting those orders in, your next goal should be to get an industrial laser that can make all of that stuff, but that much faster, so you can make even more money.
Yes. Now my Glowforge, I paid it off with my first Christmas for sure. But interestingly enough, I would encourage people, if you're not sure, go find, I have access to a makerspace here in Houston. I'm in Houston, by the way.
Right.
And that's where I got to use a big epilogue. And so now I'm like, oh, so I'm not ordering it without having a clue.
Right.
But I do want to take a moment here and say, I love Glowforge. I love what they did. And they've been great supporters of the magazine. So in no way do I want to disparage a Glowforge. Not that you were, but I want to be really clear. Because it is a great tool.
Yes.
And in fact, in looking for a new one, my sweetie goes, so what are you going to do with the Glowforge? Sell it? And I'm like, oh, hell no. No. That's going to sit over here because, and again, I wouldn't have had an idea a year ago, but the beam is different. A hair's width is a lot different than the bigger machines.
Yeah.
And so they're, hello.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of people who keep both, do one for like testing and prototyping, and then they use the big one for, their big industrial laser for, the actually like production and that kind of stuff. And so, or if like, you have an order of like one set of engraved coasters, it might make more sense to power up the Glowforge rather than power up, your large industrial laser. So there's definitely benefits to both if you can keep both. I had to sell mine before my industrial laser even showed up because it was going in that space. Right. I didn't have space to store and vent both.
The garage is now called mine.
Nice.
There's the car, and then there's all of this, and we moved into this
We're
house.
in our garage.
Yeah, this is our garage.
There you go.
There's no car in here.
When we moved into this house, there were air conditioning vents, in the garage, and we're like, okay, oh my God, I've never been so happy.
Right.
Somebody put air conditioning.
I was gonna say that sounds amazing.
When we sell this house, they're gonna have air conditioning vents in their garage.
Yeah.
I wonder why? Because it was a studio.
Yeah. So that, being in Houston in July, air condition my garage, baby.
Yeah. Right.
So in terms of Robin's Bird Brain Designs, it really, I would like to go look for wholesale customers and do wholesale. And because eventually, like a friend calls me at Christmas, oh, I need you to make my Christmas ornaments for my kids. And I end up designing a whole ornament just for them.
Right. For one person.
Melissa, it's not a problem, but but that is not efficient use of your
right.
Right.
Well, you have 30 of those and now you're busy as hell, but it's not like scalable to a certain extent. You can only take, so what I've done is I'll take a few of those, and they're the ones that are like, ooh, that's a really fun project. Or like one of the recent ones I took was that the crawfish milestone set that I did, because it was so unique and fun.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, sure, that's fun. I'll do, I can make time or room for that. And even that was difficult, but I have like the select few like spaces where it's like, okay, I can do a couple of those, but once I take, 1 to 5 friends or unique projects, now I need to worry about, am I making sure that it's something either that I can sell the design, or is it something that other people want that, I can sell more of this product? Or, again, does it make sense for my business? Because if all we're doing is recreating someone else's design that someone saw on Facebook or whatever, and then comes the effort of, I need to make sure that I'm not copying someone else. And so you go through the work of, they come to me, they want this, and I'm telling them, I can't give you that, but I can give you this. And then, so yeah, you gotta to find the happy medium between the two, helping out your friends and family while they're, wanting to support your business. Yeah. But at the same time, it can also be detrimental eventually if you do too much of that.
Yeah, it's a time suck for sure, and it doesn't really add to the bottom line. So
right.
So and two things. One is I was laughing when I was listening to one of your podcasts, and John was talking about how, oh yeah, you want that really challenging project, you do it a couple times, and then you're like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, sister. Yes. Yeah. Because, as much as I say I want to do wholesale, and that's fine, but I want to have a machine that can do it and it's not painful.
Right.
But I do like the new projects. I posted something in the friendliest Glowforge yesterday of this cool sign that I made, and it's 3-dimensional. It's got a old-fashioned glass on it, and I should have brought it in, but I didn't. Anyway, it's very cool looking, and that was fun. Yeah. Do I want to make 25 of them?
No. Yeah.
Probably not. Right. I was like trying to seal this little plastic bag.
Oh, right.
So it would look like bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Spoiler alert, it didn't work, but something else did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was visiting this person who's going to be on the cover, okay, don't drool, 300 watts. 300 watts. 5-layer ornament in 48 seconds.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah. It was amazing.
That's crazy.
It was amazing. Got to see the whole workshop, got to see the storefront. Oh my God, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, those are a lot of clues, but I bet nobody else.
Yeah. So what's some advice that you would give to a new or struggling laser owner?
Be patient. We all want to stick the thing in there, cut it, take it out, and go, oh!
We all want to be pros from day one, which is not possible.
And you take it out, and there's this char crap on it.
Or you take it out and it didn't cut all the way through, and now you wasted it.
How many times it's like you open that thing, you fling it open, and you pick it up, and then you're like, oh, I shouldn't have touched it until I made sure it cut all the way through.
And listen, I have an industrial laser, and it still happens with the industrial laser. It's usually user error because I sent it with the wrong settings or with the wrong color, because it's by light color and light burn.
Or it's down in the lower right-hand corner, right?
Right. Well, and so one thing I do whenever I use 1/4 inch, because I'm so used to using 1/8 inch acrylic, I'll use 1/4 inch acrylic, send it over with 1/8 inch settings, and it doesn't cut through. Yeah. And so a good habit, and I'm telling myself this, a good habit to get in is 1, pin down or hold down your materials. So I use the little Glowforge pins in the Glowforge, but I use thin it starts with an N, magnets, in my Mira. And I have a little piece of Gorilla tape, like literally stuck to the side of my machine. And I try and lift it up with the Gorilla tape before moving anything.
Gorilla tape.
And if it doesn't move, now I know, one, I need to fix my settings or send a second pass or whatever. And you can save it because it hasn't moved. Now, Lightburn does have a fancy feature where you can save a cut after you have moved things. It's really fancy. You'd like click on some like a couple like points in it. Yeah. I've never tried it, but I've heard about it. But you know, it's a good habit to get into, is making sure that it cut all the way through before you move it. And then that way you can just run it again and you waste a little bit less. But
don't get frustrated with it. Just go, what can I learn? What can I learn? What?
I said, that's something I can't do. I get frustrated so easily, but it's like, it's not dwelling on the frustration and like, you know, knowing that there's going to be growing pains no matter what.
Well, absolutely. And in the latest issue, Misa's writing a great article about that from a creative point of view. Like, don't give up because you think you're not creative or artistic or whatever it is. And if you think back to that first day when you were trying to work with a Glowforge that wasn't cutting, but if you think back to it, you think about how nervous you were, or like, I'm going to break it, I'm so scared, and and you think how you are now.
Yeah.
And that's not just true for a Glowforge, that's true for anything. And
anybody,
right? And you'll get there. That confidence will come. So let it grow, you know, don't give up.
And the only thing that can do that is time and practice.
Yeah.
You can take all of the courses, you can take all of the classes, you can read every single post in the Facebook group, but until you put those learnings to practice in actual projects, it doesn't mean anything. Like, that knowledge is great and it gives you some good base to like know if you see something that happens, oh, you may have read about that. Or if you see something that happens, you may know the next step instead of having to post it first, you know?
That's what I hope for the magazine, is that people will read it and then in 6 months they're trying to do something and they go, oh wait, I remember in that design column that Crystal wrote. What issue is that? Because what happens when you're a subscriber is you have access to a membership area and all the issues are there. Look up everything, you know, and find that reference that was there. Of course, there's always other places to ask, but I want that so that at 2 a.m. when you can't get an answer from most people, you can find it in the magazine.
Yeah.
That's that.
So where can people find you?
You can find laserfocusedmagazine.com. You can go there and upper middle, you can subscribe. Once you subscribe, you're automatically becoming a member and you'll have access to the membership page. You can also, you can get there with a shortcut, which is a bit.ly shortcut, which is LFM, as in Laser Focus Magazine, and then home. So capital LFMH and then OME. Okay. So those are 2 ways to get there. I'm on Instagram at Laser Focus Magazine. I'm on Facebook, Laser Focus Magazine. So awesome. Find it everywhere. Hopefully.
All right. Yeah.
And we're doing, we do contests. Of course, by the time people see this, the contest will be over, but we'll do another one for the March-April cover. And on Tuesdays, there'll be tips. So we'll be taking tips that we've written up in the magazine. And so social media will have the tip of the week.
Cool.
And I need people to send me tips. I thought that would be the easiest part.
No, it's not. We tried to do, I don't know, like quick tip Tuesday or something. We did 1 or 2 in ours too, but we did like quick tip Tuesday or something in Laser Me This or in Glow Create with Heather, and it ended up us being the only ones who were contributing tips, and it's like, oh, okay, if nobody else is gonna, you know, and every once in a while we'd have that one post where like, oh, all of a sudden there's like 4 or 5 people who, added a tip. But yeah, it's hard to compile those sometimes. They're all out there, but like getting them together in one spot can be difficult.
It is, and that really surprised me. One of the things that's coming in the members area, you'll have a free file.
Nice.
A design for free as a subscriber. Again, all these things are being developed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a little more behind than I wanted to be, but that's okay. We're growing, we're changing and learning.
Yep. You just got to keep trying each day. That's what I tell myself.
One foot in front of the other.
Right.
Isn't there a code?
Oh yeah, we forgot about the discounts. So
here to save you money.
So for everyone who's watching, if you want to run an ad with the Laser Focused magazine, you will get, and you'll get 10%. And how long is that good for? Is it good for like the next issue, or?
It's good through the March-April issue.
Okay.
And if you go to the laserfocusedmagazine.com and scroll down, you can click. It says, do you sell classes, files, whatever? Click here and you'll get all the rates, and then just send me a private message and we'll get you a discount, 10% discount.
And then we won't tell you what you get, but patrons will get a higher discount.
As always.
So you'll just need to reach out to her and let her know that you're a patron, and she'll ask me. No, nobody lying. Just kidding.
I will ask. I will.
Right. But yeah, so if you're a patron, you get an even larger discount. And if you're not a patron, just a regular supporter, then you get 10%.
Yeah. And it's great because the magazine's still so new that there's a lot of people who haven't advertised who need to be advertising. I got 3,700 pairs of eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of folks that could really benefit. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you for spending an hour of your time with us today, and good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you
in Dallas.
Yes, see you in Dallas.
Yes, we'll see you in Dallas.
Really looking forward to that, and maybe we'll be needing some video editing, John. So
hey, Riley Black Media.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that in the life update, but that's in the works.
He's your guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Delegate, baby. Delegate.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Love, not really.
Yeah, we'll figure out that whole transition and how to do that.
Transition.
Yeah, it's hard because we usually say bye. We end the episode, but now we're not ending the episode there.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna do the live update.
Yeah.
So, and we're back to the life update portion of our podcast.
Yeah. That was
now
a good episode.
Move to the end. Yeah, it was a great episode.
Yeah.
Magazine is it's cool because magazines were kind of like a thing in the past, but now it's a digital magazine,
right?
And you can still read the article. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a pretty cool concept.
Well, and it's cool because I'm in it.
Well, yeah, of course.
So
of course, that
read my
cool.
article and let me know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Well, this is a bad review. Then don't let us know what you think.
That's okay. Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
I'm all
only for the positive.
I'm not in the constructive criticism phase of my life right now.
And it's your first published writing material, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, aside from the course, kind of, but yeah. So life, man. So update on JR. We've had some good days.
We've had some. And we need some good days. We need to celebrate those.
Yes.
First, I want to say I want to give a shout out to everyone who reached out to me after watching or listening to the podcast. There were a lot of people who. Some people commented on, the actual video, but there were a lot of people who sent me private messages either on Instagram or Facebook. And just, basically telling me, that I see you, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're heard. You're not the only one who's struggling, which is, it's always comforting, but not at the same time because you don't want anybody else suffering as well. But it's nice to know that it's not just you. And so I appreciate every single one of you who reached out to me. Each one did kind of make me tear up a little bit, but they were they weren't sad tears. It was relief tears, I guess, or happy tears. Cause it's nice to have that support and to know that,
Yeah, of course, that you're not in it on your own, that you like they say, you are heard and seen, and they can relate, like people can relate to you.
Right. Ryan,
which is part of the reason why we did it.
Right, totally.
So that
again, straight back to the miscarriage days, it was like, I need people to know they aren't alone, and that was my intention in it. And then to have people reach out and tell me that I wasn't alone, it was like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm telling people they're not alone, but like,
I'm not alone either.
Really, but Ryan had messaged me, and he sent me a very, very sweet message that again did pull some happy tears, but he then reminded me that there's still no logo on the wall.
There's not anywhere around here.
And I'll get to that, but I have an excuse, okay? But I want to do it very, very soon. For one, because his support alone has been huge in us being able to do what we do. And I mean,
he's been part of our After Darks as well. And
he's totally part of the Riley Black family. So for sure. We appreciate you, Ryan, and thanks for the amazing message and all the support. I'm going to do the shout outs next week because I don't have them this week. But I did want to share that I thought I had only not sent December's files for the patrons, but I didn't send November either. And so now that it's January, whatever, I went ahead and sent another batch of 3 files. But so I'm all caught up on the files for our patrons, the ones who have that tier. However, I planned 7 months of the next files.
Oh, okay.
And that
means month 8 you won't be getting anything.
Shut up. We're talking about, I'm sitting here.
We're staying positive.
This is growth.
Yes.
Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to me.
Growth. I planned 6 more months, 7 more months of like, what file am I going to give away that month?
That's good.
So
getting ahead of the game.
Yeah, getting there. Well, it just makes it so that what happens each month is, I need to send that out. What am I going to do?
What am I going to do?
Now I don't have that stall. I just have to go through and send that email. So it'll be a lot easier for me to send it.
For sure.
And then part of the reason I didn't plan the whole year was because I hope that I will create more files stuff, and I'll have a new file to be able to give them either as like an extra benefit, like as a bonus 1 month, or here's this new file that I have, that you probably haven't purchased yet, because I do want to make it beneficial in that if you sign up to become a patron, maybe you don't necessarily need to visit my my Etsy for the new file or whatever. I want it to be a mutually beneficial relationship with the patron. So, I forget where we were going with all of that. I think you were just talking about the shout outs, but I was proud of myself, and I felt like crap. I mean, you can kind of hear it in my voice, but I felt like
too much.
I felt like crap last night. So the fact that I was able to accomplish that was huge for me. So,
and we keep referencing. We referenced it in the episode because we didn't, but Robin mentioned it.
Yeah.
But our podcast with Katie. And we talked, we actually sat down and we met with her with our stuff and got our numbers, which we were surprised. We were surprised at the numbers and everything. Like, totally thought you thought we were gonna go in there and
I was like, the numbers don't look so great. And she's like, they look great on my end.
They look pretty good to me. And then she started reading them. I'm like, those numbers seem pretty good.
The problem is that basically we pulled a lot because things were hard personally. So, but the numbers as far as the business were not bad at all.
Not at all.
And we got a lot of tips. We got a lot of goals. We got a lot of plans for how we're going to do things differently and better for this next year.
Yep.
We talked about me becoming an LLC because right now I'm just a sole proprietor.
Well, we talked about it on that episode too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We actually
we followed through.
Yeah, which is hard for us sometimes. And now we actually talked about you becoming an LLC.
as
so
well.
Those are in the works.
Yep.
And then hopefully, I mean, by the time we go to the conference, you'll be an official LLC,
right?
Pimping out your video editing,
an official like announcement and everything like that. And but as you guys know, if you have any video needs, I'm your guy. I guess just you can email the Riley Black Media
at Gmail.
Did I do Gmail? Yeah. Sorry, it's a new email. It's a new email. Give me
you're pimping it out and you only give them half the email address.
Hey, listen, it's like everyone forgets like their handle when it comes time to
you just pimped it out, so now you gotta make the Instagram
Riley Black live. Yeah.
Is it live?
No, it's
unpublished.
Huh?
Is it published or unpublished?
I think it's unpublished.
Yeah, you might want to publish that.
Yeah, now. I know. It's a lot of pressure.
That way you can follow us.
So it's RileyBlackMedia@gmail.com.
Yeah. And on Instagram as well.
On Instagram, it's Riley Black Media. It'll hopefully all be Riley Black Media, but we'll see.
Yeah.
if it's taken or not. But so that's really exciting. Got a new laptop. And I'm investing in myself.
Yes. He sold, right? He sold his truck that he wasn't really using.
Yes. And I really wanted to love that. That truck didn't want to be loved.
It didn't.
I wanted to, but it didn't want the love, so I sold it.
No, it kept fighting the love.
Yep, sold it and bought a laptop.
Yeah, and put some in savings, which was great.
Of course, that's great.
But you bought a laptop, and I mean, so this is a good example of investing in yourself. In that, we had a laptop that worked,
right?
And you would cause it'd be a little glitchy sometimes in your editing.
Yeah, it'd be a little glitchy and it would take the biggest thing I saw was exporting. Like I would set everything. I would finish our podcast,
right,
and then I was set with shorts and everything, and I would set it to export, and I'd walk away because it would take like all
hour
night. It'd take hours, because the podcast itself would take an hour, and then all the shorts and everything that we do for social media, that takes its own time. I don't even know how long because I set to export and walk away. And do it overnight. Same thing with the actual YouTube uploading as well. Was a lot quicker last night. But anyway, so I noticed that it went from like an hour to 7 minutes.
That's nuts.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
that's again because you got it's like a gaming kind of computer, but like
it's for editing. It's set up for editing,
right?
And where this one is just with
more
business
space More
so
RAM, I mean, and when I bought the one, we keep pointing at it because it's literally right there.
That's the one.
But when I bought it, it wasn't for that purpose.
No,
we weren't there yet.
No,
we were just like, oh, we have this, so let's use it for that.
I checked the specs on this one, and compared it to the specs needed to run the editing software, and it's like, okay, you can run it. It's not going to be the fastest, it's not going to be the greatest, but the system will run fine with those. So we did it. We pulled the trigger for the studio. Yeah. And now we got a bigger and better, and Riley Black Media coming at you.
Moving on up.
Big things.
Yeah, I think that's all the updates, though. We're all right this week. And then this weekend, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's still kind of touch and go. I'm not feeling the best. But we're going to the Eon holiday party.
And I get to
tomorrow.
meet Will and Mark.
Mark and Will, yeah.
Will and Mark and Will.
So I feel pretty decent today, especially considering how I felt the last few days.
Right.
And I have a negative COVID test.
Yes. So we have proof. It's not the vid.
I took a picture.
Might be the flu, but it's not the vid.
But so I'm feeling all right, and maybe heading out tonight. Right. If not, heading out.
Right. So you could be there. So you could be there for the
breakfast and the warehouse tour. Yeah, because I missed the warehouse tour the last time, and so I might head out with Amanda tonight, and then join that, and then you'll meet me up there. Yeah, tomorrow. But
right after the tour, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So yeah. I think 2023 is going to be all about investing in yourself. I have a feeling, at least so far, that's what it's been like. Yeah. Because even talking to everyone, it's definitely
there's many ways to do it, but you got to do it.
Self-improvement. I think that's the goal for this year and the theme.
Yeah. Because I think I saw a post the other day. Someone was like, oh, what's this next tool should I buy? And what equipment should I buy? And sometimes buying a course or buying or hiring someone is more beneficial than adding another tool to your repertoire that you can't use. Well, that you don't have time to use, or now you have to learn, or
you don't necessarily look at it like a tool, but it is a tool for your growth.
Yeah, but instead of a physical tool, sometimes what makes more sense is, getting better and quicker at your design software, getting better and quicker at your laser, or learning how to draw your own designs, or that kind of stuff. So yeah, invest in you. And some of that is therapy. I was talking to a friend who shall not be named. And she's struggling, with some, I guess, I don't know. Personal stuff. Yeah. And she's struggling with spending the money on therapy because the insurance she has doesn't cover that right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand that. And I understand that it adds another level to the struggle, but you have to take care of you. Right. If you don't take care of you, there's no you to do all of the things that you do for your kids and for your business and for your husband or wife or whatever. And so like it may add another obstacle you gotta do, or it may cost more money.
Right.
But it's definitely something important. And so invest in you, whether that's therapy, equipment, whatever.
Yeah. I've heard good things of BetterHelp.
Yes. Well, that is kind of something they've looked into, and it's like $200 a month or something. But in the grand scheme of things, when you think of how expensive therapy and those services can be, $200 a month.
Well, all they have to do, I mean, they're not sponsors of this podcast yet, but if they listen to other podcasts, because I mean, that's how I know
like discount
of BetterHelp.
And,
there's discount codes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, definitely. And it helps out those podcasts. Not that those podcasts don't need help, because they make money, but the ones I listen to, they make real money.
Yeah.
But that's one avenue that's like kind of been like the, I don't know, like I guess the more popular. Like if you don't have it through work, insurance through work, BetterHelp is definitely, I've heard good things about it. So yeah. So thank you guys for if you made it this far.
Right.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. Hopefully watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us comment. Oh, you know what? This is all in the ad.
Yeah.
This is all in our ad.
You don't need to do all that anymore.
But still, subscribe.
Help us get to 1K.
Yes,
that's our goal for this year.
To get monetized on YouTube.
Yes.
And we can't do it without you.
That was good.
that was good. All right. Well, that'll do it for another great episode of the Rally Back Project with Chris and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.